everybody, and welcome to our first event of 2022. It's 16th February, and many of you are aware that it is a Cancer Awareness Month and obviously the Ovarian Awareness Month. Hence, we wanted to bring both sides together and really give you some value-add content, but not only content, to hear the stories of other people. So for this event, I'm definitely going to be sharing my story, and I know I have staff here that have traveled their own journey, so I might even get them to us to share as well, because stories speak louder than just theory, and stories actually do get us emotionally involved in what's exactly going on, or the situation, or the environment, or the topic of speaking. So thank you so much for joining us. My name's Pushpa Vagela, and I'm the founder and the chair for the Women's Mentoring Foundation. We operate in a few different areas, so it's not just specifically either for the homeless or for mental health, and that we have a diverse variety of services that we offer. And our three key areas is working around grief, so hurting from healing, and we have a program around that which is over 4 weeks and only runs for 2 hours per week, but you literally get us holding your hand and giving you the best opportunity possible, and a platform that will allow you to heal from any past events, any grief or trauma that you may have experienced, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, whether it's mental, whether it's social, whatever it is. And it could be the smallest thing to the biggest thing. It might be that you're just a little disturbed with what's happened with the recent pandemic, and yet you don't know what's really going on. So we have an opportunity where we allow you to unleash, and then we have tools and resources that will enable you to take that to another level as well. The second key program, so we've got the first one happening in March, and then the second one is in May. The second program is all around your self-development. So what is it that you really, really want in your heart? What's that desire or that dream which you may have, you put at the bottom of your soul and your heart, and you haven't visited for a long time, yet you know it's there. And if it isn't, great. We work on your values, we work on your beliefs, we look at your unlimiting belief. What is stopping you from living a fulfilled life, whether it's as an entrepreneur, whether it's professional, even if it's just as a mother or a parent at home. Whatever it is, we can work at any obstacles or challenges that you may be facing, and helping you eliminate the limiting beliefs. So that goes in a little bit deeper, but that's the next stage of where human behavior, especially the cognitive side of things, gives you the opportunity to grow, develop. And because we've already worked on the transgression and transgenerational side of things in the first part, we then bring you here with getting more clarity on a clearer space. The third program is the core, because I'm not going to say I'm an expert in leadership, but it is something that I work and come from with a level of deeper passion. And when I know, following experiences and having worked with a lot of people around the globe, is that when you have strong self-leadership, which means having that stronger belief in yourself, but also being a person of influence for the right reason. So once your strong leadership is in place, everything around you will fall in. And this is something that I use on my leadership wheel, is that we all have areas in lives that are not always going to be at the level that we wanted, right? And you are in the middle of that. So if your core is coming from a strong sense of, I'm going to say, assumptions, perceptions, whatever it is for you, then you'll find that everything else is able and is an opportunity for you to make better. And you can do that with more confidence, courage, because the depth of belief and strength and passion and motivation and inspiration that you have for you is at a level where it doesn't matter what's going on, I can actually give that a go. And, you know, great people, a lot of high achievers are definitely not there because they had it perfect every moment. A lot of our high achievers, especially our leadership, they've left a benchmark, but they've got there through many mistakes and failures. So failure is a good thing because making mistakes and failures are what gives us our learning growth. And I've been there too. I am not here because I've had the perfect upbringing. I've definitely faced a lot of challenges in my life, and it's these challenges that really was the brinks and the key instigator for me in starting this charity, getting a beautiful team on board so that we can offer this greatness to people like yourself. So let's move on. I have a team here, so I'm just going to get them to briefly introduce themselves. The session will go for about 45 minutes. And we will have 5 to 10 minutes for Q&A as well, which will be great. This video, and Stephanie will explain what will happen with the recording, so you've got access to this tangible asset all the time. So let's start with my, what have I got here? Let's start with my program manager, Navya.
Hi, Pushpa.
Hi, Navya.
Yeah, it's wonderful to be part of this wonderful project here, what you're doing for the cancer awareness. And because I have recently experienced my own personal experience on this, and I think it will benefit a lot of women out there to get a bit of better awareness. So it's like that acknowledgement and then the acceptance of it and being aware of it. So I think that's what WMF, what it stands for, and what you're going to try and promote now. So I have been part of this wonderful organization for a few months now, and I've got so much out of it. And I really hope this session will bring the same to you, whoever is viewing it. And I really hope more and more people will be actually getting hands-on with this, and you share it more and more so that it reaches to many women out there and they can benefit from it. So thank you, Pushpa, for including me in this.
Unmute myself. I think the most famous words on Zoom meetings is that you're on mute. So Navya, thank you so much. And for sure, Navya has, it's not years ago, Navya is actually traveling the journey of healing from something similar. And I've got to say that I'm very much in awe of you, just having that confidence and courage while you're going through your own rehab and healing, of being here and talking about it and having that desire, because you're raw. Like we've, you know, when I had it, I've survived it and I'm in a better place, but you're actually physically, emotionally right now traveling that journey. So thank you so much for being here and doing that for us.
Yeah, thank you, Pushpa.
And yeah, WMF will surely, lots of lives will be changed because of that. I have my digital manager, Steph, here. Steph, would you like to just say a few words, dear?
Hi, I'm Steph. Yeah, I'm really interested in what you're saying, Pushpa. I think it's just so beneficial to people who have basically experienced various problems in their lives, even in their childhoods, to be able to learn how to deal with the situations, how to cope better. And this is just a wonderful resource for people to be able to become aware of the tools and the resources and how they can manage their lives and their emotions, mental state, everything in a much better way, and just basically grow and become more, become a more confident, more capable type of person that can manage with most situations in life. So yeah, I'm really glad to be here today and to have this opportunity to join you for this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Steph. That's really, really great. And again, very much in awe of everything you've done for the charity, because if we don't have digital, if we don't have innovation, and definitely if we don't have Steph and her creativity and holding me accountable, then we surely won't have been here today. And I'm really, really grateful for everything that you've done and the difference that you're making in many lives. So thank you, Steph, for that beautiful introduction.
Thank you.
I shall now pass it on to Siri. Siri's our charity administrator. So I'm just going along who I have down my row.
Hello everyone, I'm Siri and I'm a charity administrator since 1 year with Pushpa, and it's been great being a part of our organization. Well, in the past year, I've noticed that she's always very giving to everyone, whether it's her team members or to other people. She just loves to give. So that's the thing that's actually kept me in this movement for so long. And she always mentors us as well. So that's something that's actually like a very positive thing. And I like what Pushpa is doing, trying to give to other women specifically. And this cancer awareness is a great program because there's lots of people in pain and they just don't know how to handle it. So I think it's a very good awareness for other women out there. So yeah, it's been great being part of your team, Pushpa.
Thank you for that, Siri. And again, Siri and Navia have been here from day one. Last year was a year for us where it was I'm going to say trial and error and experimented, because we really wanted to be unique. We just didn't want to be another charity that's going to be providing education and telling you what mental health is or what, you know, problems are, what suicide is, and that we really wanted to put in the prevention side. And that's our core this year, is that we are working on the prevention side of things, so preventing emotional abuse, preventing self-harm, and preventing suicide as well. And that comes with education, and hence the reason that we are doing this today. So with Siri, like Siri has a lot of patience, and I've got to say, you know, I didn't even know. And again, with Steph as well, I'm not a techie person. It's absolutely of no interest to me, but I'll do what they tell me to do, and it's not always perfect. So they do have a lot of patience, and thank you, Siri, for that. And we have Stephanie, who does a lot of things. So Stephanie, please introduce yourself. And I know you are focusing on the planning and the marketing side of things. So yeah.
Hi everybody, I'm Stephanie. I'm working as volunteer in the foundation. My role is working in the planning and marketing area, but now I'm support to the social media. So I would like to say thank you, because this is a really good foundation who is help different women who is getting for difficult times. For me, it's really beautiful. Encourage with you guys, because it's like a really big family, and all we can support.
Well, thank you, Stephanie. Okay, so we are now going to go into the content, and WMF contact details and everything we'll have on at the end as well. And Stephanie will definitely share all the spaces and places that you can, you know, donate to the charity, because at the moment we fund ourselves. Everything that we do, we're doing off our own back. And it's really great that just in the month of January, I personally had reached out to over 40 women. Even this Monday, a woman that had a breakdown, and she just called me, and I was there for her for a whole hour. And at that time, I didn't know her husband had lung cancer, so it was great to just be there for her. So even with a cancer, ovarian cancer, obviously, you know, we women get that, but with cancer overall, it's not just the individual that goes through that, but definitely impacts the family around them, and they too really need that love and support as much as possible. And again, it comes back to the prevention and the education side of it, and how do we deal with this. So housekeeping, really appreciate it that you will be keeping your cameras on where possible, but when we share the screen, on the video, it will only be the screen that will be shown. It's the same when we have speakers, so it'll only be the speaker's face that will be shown. So you don't have to be watching that camera all the time while we've got the PowerPoint going on in the background. Focus, that to get really maximum benefit of any learning environment is the focus. And the other thing that we really teach on is your state. So everything we do in life is 80% psychology, 20% state. Your psychology and your physiology, which is your state, is really important when you're looking at wanting to nurture yourself and to grow yourself, but also to keep your energy at a high level, so that doesn't matter what you're doing, you know that you are contributing and you're making the most of that time. And that's one of the greatest lessons we've all learned over the last 18 months, is that it's not about managing time anymore. It's about really valuing the time that we have. All right, Stephanie, when you're ready, if you could share the slides, that would be fantastic. So our topic, as I mentioned, is around cancer. The first thing that I'll just briefly speak on is, all right, so National Cancer Prevention Awareness Month. World Cancer Day is held every 4th February. It is a global uniting initiative, and the whole reason for it is raising the awareness worldwide. And more so now than ever, there are so many people that are actually going through some form of cancer, or the threat of cancer, or growth that may be cancer related within us. We know that cancer cells are within all of us, and there's always something that triggers them off for them to start growing or being activated within our bodies. And it could be stress related, it could be genes, it could be something that we've gone in, through our lives. And it's all about, I suppose, maintaining you and maintaining health as much as possible, and what's in your control. Obviously for some of us, like the little children, they can't control that. And yet, there are young children that have leukemia and cancer and are going through so many forms of treatments. But when we do have an awareness of how can we prevent it, or how can we maintain it, or how can we have the best opportunity to avoid triggering that, then I believe that, as human beings, we give and we owe our bodies that opportunity to do that. So the next slide. And in regards to improving the education, it's really a catalyzing personal thing. So government, organizations, and lots of individuals are wanting to take action, so that we are working together in really recreating and reimagining a world where there is an opportunity for preventable cancer. And through that, there are deaths that are prevented, or people are saved from going through a whole life of trauma or of treatment, and have access to life-saving cancer treatment, which in itself is care that is equitable for all, no matter who you are or where you're living in the world, no matter what culture background or what age group you are, that there is some form of care. And I know for people that I've been with that have been in their final stages, even if it was at a point that we couldn't do anything to prevent what was going to happen, what we actually did was gave them the gift of living the last few chapters of their lifetime in a beautiful way. So whether it was that we were loving them and respecting them unconditionally, whether it was praying with them, whatever it was that enabled them to be at peace, irrelevant of what the conclusion of their life was going to be. So there's always something that you can do for somebody. And I mentioned about what we've already done with WMF, so I won't touch on that. I'll let Stephanie touch on that at the end of the program. And we'll just go on to the next part here. Cancer awareness is ideally the key, so people can early detect it and I suppose the awareness is about health-seeking behavior. Cancer is quite common, as I've mentioned, and it's developing. So it's not only in developed countries, but it's in countries that are not as well developed, and yet they don't know about it. So we want to promote the awareness and, where possible, the prevention in every general population, not just here in Australia, but even in Australia, reaching out to the remote and the rural areas as well. With, I've done a couple of projects in rural areas, and where there's only been about 200 or 1,000 people in that town. I've gone and provided the education. I did a whole trip from Julia Creek right through to Townsville on providing guidance around mental health, because everybody deserves to know. Poor awareness does lead to poor uptake. So it really impacts our screening modalities and can delay in diagnosis. So if you've got an opportunity, like I went on Thursday to have my cervical smear test, pap smear, whatever they call it. And I know in the past it was something that I avoided many times. Yeah, it'll happen. But then, when like Navia shared her story, and I thought, well, it's not something that I want to risk anymore. I really want to be living a healthy life and, for my loved ones, be here as much as possible, but more so for the charity and reach as many people as possible. The primary goal of ours, WMF, is to promote and develop awareness, especially around the prevention and in public, and really emphasize on how important it is, if I'm specifically talking about cancer, how important it is to have that early detection, which all these little things play a major role in the treatment of cancer. It's not just what the medics provide you, but your treatment actually begins with your thought processes. What are you feeling? What are the meaning that you're giving to what's going on in your life? What is it in your physical body? Where are you feeling these sensations? And what are the sensations? Is it anxiety? Is it stress? Is it worry? All these little things, like, I've been teaching yoga for 30 years, but every negative emotion literally uses up 3 times as much energy than you would if you were in a positive emotion. And more so guilt would, that drains you. So, and a lot of people, when they're at this stage where they've discovered that, there's a possibility of cancer there, they go into a frame of mind of feeling guilty that, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? And that's fine. And what I encourage all my cancer clients, and not even that in my talks, is that, okay, we can't change the past. We want to use it as a learning curve. And what we want to do is 5% we've thought about the what's, I should have, I could have, but we want to bring you back to this space where for 95% of the time, you are now focused on healing and being in a better place because of it. So cancer, cancer awareness, it's a goal where we lead people, whether, you've had the threat of it or whether you don't, but to start living a healthy lifestyle irrelevant. And that healthier lifestyle just doesn't mean that, I've got to compromise eating habits and that. For sure, look at what you're putting in your body. But it also means that living in that positive mindset, where you are laughing, where you are enjoying the day, you've taken a breath, you've actually woken up, your feet have touched the ground. How can you be more grateful? What 10 grateful things can you think of just before you go to sleep? Because our mind takes a little while to switch off. It's still processing our last thoughts, even if we've fallen asleep. So your last thoughts are so important on the impact that will have in your body, especially your neurosystem, because you could be sleeping from 5 to 8 hours. If you're crazy like me, for 30, 40 years, I only slept 3 hours a day. Now I do get a good 5 to 6 hours sleep, but that's going to be 5 to 6 hours of thoughts that are going to be on the back of my mind. And I want to make sure that It's either peaceful, it's either positive, but it's definitely the last thoughts that will allow me to have a really good sleep and allow my body to rest, but also to rejuvenate and heal while I'm sleeping. Because that's the time that the body does heal, because you're not doing anything else. You're resting, which means that your insides are now working, going around the body, your blood cells are traveling and checking out and seeing what's going on. So that's the other thing. It's, yes, eating healthy food, what you're putting in your body is great, but how you manage your inner being, only you can do that. And finally, just on the cancer side of it, is that avoiding exposure that could trigger you to cancer-causing substances, for example, taking medicines or vaccines that can prevent cancer developing, and then thinking about your environment, that if there was something here, what would that trigger be? Now, I know, smoking isn't allowed in public places, but in the past, when people were smoking passively, it wasn't just a smoker that was actually getting the damage done to his body. It was going out to all the people that were breathing that smoke, especially children who are still developing their lungs and everything. Great. Thanks, Stephanie, for going on to the ovarian. And if there are any questions or anything, you can just type it in the chat. Stephanie will monitor that. And if we can't get you the answers today, we'll definitely find out and come back to you. And on saying that, if you're listening to the recorded version, or if you're watching the recorded version of this video, when Stephanie shares the contact details and you've got any questions, any concerns, please, please, please don't leave it to regret. Reach out. There isn't any silly question. There's no silly thoughts. If it's a thought that's come into your mind and your heart, it's come there for a reason. Pursue it. And that's one of the things that we talk about when we're saying prevention. If your body has been niggling you for a while, or has been saying something, or you've noticed that there's change in your emotions or your behaviors, investigate it. You may not even notice it, but your loved ones might say, hey, Mom, you're a little irritable. Is everything all right? Or, your sister's telling you, what's wrong with you? Why are you always so grumpy all the time? And that might just be an opportunity for you to take a step back and see what's going on. Might not be anything to do with your physical health. It might be your environment, but rather than allow that to start impacting you within you, because if we hold on to a lot of things that don't serve us, they eventually start impacting our physical body. Hence the start of illnesses, colds, flus. Eventually, for some of us, unfortunately, it's terminal illnesses, burnout. So health, health, health. Nothing greater a message than what COVID has given us in the importance of looking after our health. Okay, moving on to ovarian cancer. So again, yes, February is about raising awareness for ovarian cancer, and it's held each year in February, and it's held to raise and educate Australians here, so I'm being specific to Australia, on ovarian cancer, raising the awareness and truly sharing stories of real women that are affected by the disease. So I wasn't affected by ovarian cancer, but I definitely had a growth on the side of my tummy about 2.5 years ago. And, they literally told me that I had 6 months to live. Well, the minute they told me that, I changed everything. I was working crazy hours, and I had 3 organizations at that time, 18 hours, 7 days a week. And because I'm a bit hyper, I just kept going and going and going. As soon as they diagnosed that, everything stopped. Literally everything stopped. And the first thing I did was ask for forgiveness from my physical body for not listening to it and for abusing it, and truly, just saying, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. Moving on, and giving myself a 6-month break until I was given the all clear. And then come January, You know, I've set this up, I've got this going, and I'm managing my time and looking after my body at the same time in a more loving and valued way. So Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, as I mentioned, is held every February, and mainly to highlight the diagnosis and what women may be going through, like side effects. And I know Navia shared a few things the other day. I asked her, so how did you know? And she shared with me, you know, that I really didn't think anything, a lot of it. And I might get Navia to share that experience if she's okay to share it. But it, you know, it gets us to think about, why did I not know? Navia, are you comfortable with sharing some points there?
Yes, yeah, sure. I think we take it too lightly, as you were saying earlier. I think any kind of symptoms, we don't take care of our body. I think women, we are very good at saying, okay, it's all right, everything is all right. Somehow that's like the go-to kind of sentence for us. But we need to kind of remember, anything that doesn't seem right, your intuition most of the time is right. Something doesn't feel right, that means you do need to get it checked. There is no such thing as being extra cautious when it comes to our health, especially after the age of beyond 30. I mean, it could be anger for some women, but I'm saying anything different in your periods, I think that's the first thing I would say, is because the heavy, if it is too heavy, that's something you need to think about as well. Why is it happening? And are you having any spotting in between the periods? And these are the sort of questions I had to come across. I had to question. These are the questions that were asked to me. How many months have you been having heavy periods, or how has it been the flow? And these are the kind of questions sometimes we dismiss, and we need to question that. And how has my moods been? Have I been stressed lately? Could it possibly affect my health? I think sitting back and taking that one, taking the time for ourselves, as Pushpa was saying earlier, is, I could easily have done the same thing what she said. Sorry, my body, that I didn't listen to you, because my body had been probably telling me for 4-5 months that you're stressed, you're going through this, you need to take a step back, you need to relax, you need to go get it checked. And obviously, and then when I got checked, and because the sooner you detect something, it's better. And every week will make a difference when it comes to cancer. That's my understanding. Once you because each cancer is different. If it's an aggressive type, it's very, very important to get it diagnosed earlier on, because that means then you will be actually able to get a better treatment, and it will avoid from major treatment to happen, because the radiotherapy and chemotherapy is generally given to those women or those people where the cancer has advanced, and depends on which part of your body as well. So I think my experience has been that your intuition will be telling you something there for every lady out there. You just need to listen to it and then go and get it checked out.
Beautiful, Nabia. Thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, when I read up on it, I said, well, when you told me what it was, I read up on it and I was like, wow, there's so many signs there that women can be aware that something's not right here, and yet they just keep pushing. And you know, I've got to look after my kids, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and life gets in the way. But that 1 hour checkup can change everything. And I know.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say the other thing is that's the reason there is something as pap smears. They say they actually, even the government is kind of reminding you constantly about get the pap smears done, get the breast screening done. And these are there for a reason, because that's something we keep dismissing. I have been one of those kind of being negligent about pap smears. Do I need to go? It's uncomfortable, all of that thoughts, but that it might be uncomfortable for that 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes, let's say 5 minutes, but that could actually save you a lot of pain in the future.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. And you know, with everything that you've been through, I've got to say, I'm in awe of how bouncing back you've come. I know there was a few times you said to me that, well, Pushpa, you found out on the Friday, by Monday you had the operation, so your body didn't have time to even adapt and acknowledge what was going through. And now obviously it's going through the changes. But at that time, I remember you told me that I think, I've taken a step back from a lot of things. It's not something I can do. And I don't think I can contribute to WMF either. So I think I should take a step back. But I didn't let you because I knew that WMF was going to be a part of your healing. And I know I said that I don't care if I don't see you for 6 months, I'm not going to let you take that step back. And even if I speak to you every 2 months, that's fine. But it was really important that you stayed strong and you stayed with us. And that says a lot for a woman that just wants to give up and say, what's the point? Or, they've had such a huge shock.
Yeah, I think it's more to do with, I think I have been blessed in the sense I don't give up that easily. That's been my personality. But your support at that time definitely did benefit, because knowing that somebody is out there and they're saying, it's okay, you take your time. And actually it's that self-love. We do need to give ourselves a lot of self-love. That's something I've learned in this journey. If there is anything that I've learned, is about nothing actually, the littlest things doesn't matter anymore. It's like I'm able to look at the world in a bigger picture. I've kind of got new lens in my eyes. That's just been the journey. You get to see everything in a bigger picture. The little things doesn't matter anymore. And you focus on what's more important is you actually staying healthy, happy. And that's what matters. And you need to focus on that you got to constantly remind yourself. And when you said, you bounced back beautifully. And I think it's been a journey, and I've been blessed with really, really good friend circle. I have really got very, very, very good friend circle, and I've got a good support system next to me, which is beneficial for most women as well. You got to find people that you can relate to and talk to, and you don't need to hesitate there, because it's your time to actually talk at that time. And Siri has been one of the pillars for me at that time, listening to me actually and helping me out. And so that's what Pushpa here is trying to do for women out there. If you, my Siri was there for you. So finding that, I think hopefully with WMF, you will find that support.
Yes, and that's so true. Like I remember talking to Siri at that time, and this is the impact that you have on the people that love you, because you're going through your own journey. Siri was a mess in herself, but she was always there for you. She was like, why, how, what's going on, and she couldn't believe it. She was there for you. And at that time, I'd say that she was more upset than you.
Absolutely.
She didn't want it to happen. She refused of acknowledging that it was happening to you.
Absolutely. I think that's why I keep, at that time, I think I joked, I think you're doing all my share of the crying. So my eyes are actually dry. I can't, because you're doing it for me. So I think I think we learn to count our blessings. That's another thing you learn to do these experiences. Actually, you got to take it in a positive straight, because they recently that I think I shared with you a poem that I've written, where it's about the scars on my body actually are beautiful. So for me to actually come to saying it now, I'm able to say it after 4 months of this journey. But I suppose initially those women who have just probably come to know or just have gone through the surgery, scars are not beautiful. The scars are difficult for you to even come to say some positive thing about it. But I need to tell you that every week it gets better. Your body is healing. You need to be aware of what's happening to your body and give it lots of love. And yeah, you will get there eventually.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Navya. Siri, did you have anything to add to that, dear? Because you've literally traveled this journey with Navya as a support.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say she has also been amazingly resilient as well. So she doesn't let things get her down, and it was very hard what she had to go through, but yet she was really resilient. She was still positive. She had to keep me positive. So it was hard. But yeah, she went through it all. And even your support initially was really supportive to Navya Pushpa. She told me Pushpa has been amazing. She called me, she made sure I'm good. So she was really like very happy with the support you gave her as well. So that's what this organization is about, just to support each other. And you just knew us a couple of months, but still you were ready to support us. So that was great. Even me, you checked up on me. Am I doing okay? Am I dealing with it okay? So it's just not the person, but their whole support system as well. So yeah, it's just amazing in itself. So yeah.
Thank you for that beautiful share. And it's exactly what the slide is telling us, is that you don't have to face it alone. Together we are stronger. And you know, that as a general comment, I would say that whoever you are and whenever you watch this video, I really don't care what you're going through. It could be the biggest thing or the smallest thing. I know that one thing is for sure, if I know that you are, I won't let your hand go, and do whatever I can to support, as will my team. So we, you know, in Australia, just here alone, we are losing, well, 1,550 women are diagnosed with ovarian cancer. More than 2/3 of women are diagnosed at an advanced stage where the cancer has spread and is just too difficult to treat successfully. And unfortunately, we lose one woman to ovarian cancer every 8 hours. That's in Australia. So you can imagine how that's impacting the world, and where it's just crazy in other places. Thank you for that beautiful share. So I'm just conscious of the time. You know, we're 45 minutes into the program already, and I just want to again say thank you so much for attending. You know, we do everything as an initiative where we want to be uniting, we want to be leading this so that we are all on the same page, yes, for our healing, because I truly believe that when we help others, it's a healing for us. I'm a person of faith, and I truly believe it comes down to that receiving and giving. And no doubt, without a doubt, don't ever think that you're on your own. There is always, always, always somebody there to support you. And if you haven't got access to internet, if you don't have access to a phone, reach out to a friend that has got something. And even if, you know, my mobile's there, you can call me anytime. We've got social media, we've got direct messages, we've got the website. And it's not just about reaching out to Pushpa. You can actually reach out to any team member. Everybody's open here to give you all that you need to enable that you can live an improved quality of life. And whether that's through your physical, emotional, mental health, we can truly support you in making that happen. So coming to a conclusion, I'll be handing it over to Steph in a moment. But I just wanted to say one thing is that whatever time we are in, you know, if we live in a time of awe-inspiring advancements in cancer prevention, diagnosis, and treatment, and many of us are seeking cancer care, yet we hit barriers at every turn. And it's not just about the cancer, but we hit barriers and obstacles, whether it's in our income, the financial, education, on a geographical basis. So even the location and discrimination based on some cultures in their own community, the gender, the sexual orientation, the age, the disabilities, people are still holding to a lot of stigma that is not serving people. And I think through the education, we don't even have to make it out that we're sharing education, but even saying a few words of wisdom around the prevention of causing harm to yourselves and to others can truly contribute to changing somebody's life. So that's it from me. I just want to say thank you again so much for joining us, and I'll allow Stephanie to finish off the program.
Okay, thank you for joining us. I would like to invite you to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and also if you have any question or concern, write to us to Women Foundation womenmentorfoundation.com and servers at womenmentorfoundation.com. And also, I would like to invite to you our next event on March, Women International Day, and each month we have online events. Please join us, and thank you so much for your participation, and see you soon. Thank you, ladies, for joining us.